Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. Today I wanted to explain to you guys why I think EVE Online is such a good game and why I've been playing it for such a long time. I've actually been playing EVE Online on and off since 2015, and then after 2017 I started playing it very consistently and quite a bit. And there's many reasons for this, and I'll start off by saying that, just first off, I really love the graphics of this game. I think everything looks amazing. This is like my ideal kind of space simulator graphics. I just think they look really good. There are some games that can have better graphics, for example like Star Citizen, but I still really like them. And also it runs so well. I'm consistently got 144 FPS for the max amount for my monitor. So that's something I really like about this game. And then when it comes to gameplay, it has one of the best gameplays, in my opinion, that keeps you attached to the game for a long time. And this works because EVE Online's gameplay is not like a quick playing game. Like you can't just expect to get all the good stuff very quickly. It takes a long time, and when the game is focused on playing in the long run, and I actually do seriously mean long run. I'm talking about years. It could take you more than a year to get some of the N-tier ships, such as like the Titans, for example. But there's still a lot of things you can do, and that's not saying that that you can't do anything straight away. There's always stuff to do. It's just that what I'm saying is to get to the end part of the game, or like the N-tier stuff, that takes a really long time, and that's something I think is really good because it gives an actual feeling of like accomplishment when you get to these parts. For example, an example is my Rattlesnake. Now this is the ship I'm running right now, and this ship takes you, I think it's like 2 weeks to train into if you start out. So I mean, that's just 2 weeks to be able to fly one ship. So that's another thing. Then there are other ships, like for example Paladin, which actually I only recently started training into. And this ship, so that was like I think it was like a month ago. So that's like 4 years later I actually finally got into this. It obviously didn't take. You could, if I really wanted to, I could have trained this a lot earlier, but the thing is that it is pretty difficult, so I left this for a long time. So what I'm trying to say is that there's always something to train into, and it has to do with how the way skill points work. Skill points work, and that they train over time. Like, it's something that just happens even if you're offline. So this really happens in real time, and even if you're offline, and it makes so that the stuff you train has some actual time to it. There's obviously injectors and these things that can inject skill points that you can buy for with a lot of money, but not everyone does that, or at least it's not a very economically efficient to do that, because it costs a lot of money to buy skill injectors to get skills straight away. Because you can see here, I've got some skill points. I got this from an event, but you can also buy these, and then you can just apply these and save it to a bit of time. These 2,500 skill points saved me a whopping 3 hours and 27 minutes. So you can see here, this skill here, there's some skill 2 days, 3 days. These all affect your ships in some way. So you can have for example, the skills required to fly this ship takes about 2 weeks. We're going to start off by just launching our drones into this emerging conduit wave, because I just wanted to warp on top of the spawn point. So that is why I think it's such a cool game, and it's also quite unique, is because it just really focuses on the long run. It's not like you can't just get everything straight away. It really takes time, a lot of time, and it gives you there's always something new thing. That's something I really think is really epic. There's always something a step better. There's always something a step better you can train into, or there's always that next ship, and that is just really cool, and it's something to look forward to while you're playing the game. But that's not only it. The economy of this game is just amazing. Everything is made. Oh wait, I don't think. I think the enemy ships are shooting my drones. Yeah. I want to recall these drones. So you see that my drone is getting shot up. The economy of this game is just amazing, because the economy is completely, or almost completely, driven by players. Like, every item that is bought in the game, or almost every item, is made by a player. For example, this Rattlesnake I'm piloting here, it was made by some player who salvaged a blueprint from a pirate base, the Goristas pirate base. Oh, that went quickly. And they then produced the ship in a station with the help of that blueprint, and then they sold it in the market, and I bought it. And it also could have been that just someone else bought the ship from some guy, and he sold it as a secondary sale on the market. This ship here has some origin. This mobile tractor unit that I've deployed here, that pulls in these loot here. You can see there's loot here from the ships I was shooting that's being pulled in. This mobile tractor unit was also built by some player who purchased a mobile tractor unit blueprint, or purchased a mobile tractor, or somehow got a mobile tractor unit from someone and put it on the market. So that's something that's just really cool, because it gives like a feeling of very like immersion and realism. And also in general, when it comes to the economy of EVE Online, I think it's so cool how the economy is very satisfying. Like, earning ISK, in my opinion, is very satisfying, and I do a lot of videos on this because it is. And there's also, everything requires ISK. Like, this mobile tractor unit costs a few million here, this ship here costs many millions here, this costs like 600 million total ship, and the items I've gotten, it costs like 1 billion ISK. So you need a lot of ISK, and it's important because you want to be able to do things in the game. You need ISK to be able to fuel them, and obviously there's a lot of progression to that. So before, when I started out, obviously I would not be able to do this because not only couldn't I fly this ship, I couldn't afford it, so I'd do other activities. For example, I'd mining. You can see here on my scanner, I can see some ships called like an Orca. There was also one before, but it's not anymore. Like, you can sometimes you would use mining ships, and that's what I used to do in the very beginning, where I'd mine stuff like a little scrub, and then slowly work my way up until I would get better and better stuff, until I'm finally here where I am at now. Just so cool that there's not like only a progression when it comes to your skill points to be able to fly the ships, there's also like progression when it comes to wealth. There's like so much more things. For example, I told you here that this ship and the weapons it's using costed like 1 billion, right? This paladin here, the ship itself costs like 1.5 billion. You can get actually for cheaper prices in different trade hubs. This is in Dodixie, but the ship itself, this paladin, costs 1.5 billion. Then the modules you'll attach to it will put it further, more 2 billion plus. So it really shows you how like the progression can be. And another example is the Avatar Titan. And this can't even be flown in the areas I'm next to right now, so you can't see it for sale. But this costs like many billions. I think it's like 40 billion or something. So it's like, there is really a steep progression, or a very long progression, and I'm nowhere close to there, at least even after 5 years. So that's how I'm talking about, it's the long run. And people might get like depressed, or like feel like, oh, there's no point of me playing EVE because I'll never get to the end goal. Well, the thing is, guys, you don't want to have to like have these as your end goals to be the best of the best. There's still stuff you can do. For example, I'm really happy just in this Rattlesnake here because there's so much I can do in it, and there's always like working my way up to getting better and better stuff. Like, eventually I want to be able to fly a Dreadnought. A Dreadnought is a very like extremely big battleship. It's like it's really a cool kind of ship. But there are also like pros and cons. For example, a Dreadnought can only be flown in like nullsec and lowsec. I can't fly in highsec. I'm in highsec right now. So that's like another way. Like, there's always stuff on the horizon, and you don't have to be there. Like, I'm pretty happy where I am right now, but it's just cool to always know that there's something new I can do. Otherwise, it doesn't mean I'm not having fun right now. You don't have to get like these really capital ships just to have fun in the game. You can have plenty of fun even with stuff that's worse than this. It's not like that. Because I remember once when I was playing EVE with I actually showed one of my bosses EVE Online, and we actually played together once. That was really fun, actually. But how I could get my boss to start playing EVE, but he quit after a few days because it was too much for him. And he quit for this specific reason, that he just felt like he'd have to spend too much time to do anything meaningful in the game. And it's definitely not the case. Like, there's always stuff you can do. It just really depends on how like far you set the goals in this game. And like I've been talking about, it takes like, many months, years, or days to get a certain ship. Well, there's always smaller stuff. Like, you can have, for example, like an Omen cruiser. You can do cool stuff in this. This only takes you about like 3 days to train or something. So, I mean, there's always stuff you can do. It just really depends on how far you set your goals. And it doesn't mean you can't have fun at the lower tiers as well. Another thing I think is that really cool in this game is that it's like for free. So this is a game like World of Warcraft. It's MMO, and you pay a monthly subscription, but you can also pay it for free. And the good thing about this is that you can do that for as long as you want. And the bad thing about that is that you can only fly a certain amount of ships. You can't fly any ships anymore. You can actually, in fact, fly this ship right here, this Rattlesnake. You can fly this if you're playing for free. But then if you upgrade to a paid account, you pay every month, then you can actually fly anything in the game. And also that leads to another thing that I think is really cool, is that you can actually earn this subscription in games. You can technically play for free. Well, it's not, nothing is really free. Like, you're obviously going to be doing stuff in the game, so that in itself is, you know, going to take time. But I mean, if you're having fun in the game, then that can definitely be a way to play for free. Or at least that's how I'm doing it right now. I'm completely going off the Plex. Plex is what the currency that is used to get your subscription. You can see here I've got 6,000 Plex here. So I've been getting this in game. So I'm basically covered for like a whole year. So and I've been grinding this in game, or I've accumulated this over a long amount of time. So it's really cool how you can do that. And actually, that's actually a really cool alternative actually for like, and it can give both give a good sense of satisfaction, but it can also give a lot of burnout. That can happen. I've heard a lot of people who've tried to grind Plex and that I've seen on like forums that they've been saying that, oh, I got burnt out. So definitely don't try to do this in the beginning, and especially you can play for free, so you can do a lot even as a free player. So that's really that's something I would strongly recommend you do. You start as the free player, which is called an alpha clone, and then gradually over time you maybe want to become omega clone when you feel like the alpha clone limits you. But I actually played for free for like a year, so there's definitely a lot you can do just on a free player. Then also, I think that there's just, in general, there's so many things you can do in this game. There's just amazing amount of things you can do. You can see here on this map here, there's just so many things you can do. You do a ton of things in PvE, you know, you can fight pirates, do a lot of things, fend off invading entities. Then you can go into PvP, which is also an amazing thing. And actually, that's a really cool thing about this game, is that, you know how I'm talking about how, you know, there's a lot of progression, you have to earn money. There's a lot of things on the line when you're in player versus player encounters, because you will lose your ship, obviously, if you die. And that creates a lot of, like, very tense moments. There's a lot of things at stake. So if you die, you obviously lose quite a bit. And that can really make things at epic moments and, like, really make so that you take the battle seriously, a lot more seriously than any other games actually. In PvP battles in EVE Online, I've taken them so much more seriously than PvP battles in any other game. The only one that rivals it is this game called StarMade, and it's a similar thing to EVE Online, is that the battles in that game also have a lot of, like, you have to grind a lot for your ships. So that also has, and also reputation as well. So there's like a lot at stake, and this makes it so that these PvP battles get a lot of value to them. They really feel real. And then you can do that industry if you're into that. Like, there's a million things you can do. Tech 1, Tech 2, Tech 3 stuff. You really just can go out to lots of different things. And you can got like a whole community that you can talk to. And that's something I think is really cool about this game, is that in general, I think the EVE Online community is really good. There's so many different types of people in this game, and a lot of people, especially new players, will probably think that, oh, these guys are really harsh, you know, because I remember getting killed by this guy as a completely new player, but completely had no chance, got wrecked by this guy in lower sec a long time ago. But there can actually be some really kind people, a lot of really kind people in this game. It's just that you got like the occasional pirates who, because this game is, you're completely free. You're like, you can do almost whatever you want, so you can kill anyone anywhere. And so people can do that, and it'll seem very harsh, but that's just the nature of the game, guys. They're just as, I feel like they're just as many or even more nice people than harsh people in this game. And that, I feel like, is really cool, because there's just so many nice people in this game. And also, the people who play this game, they're generally quite old. Like, they're often, like, rarely below 20, I've noticed. So you'll often find a lot of mature people here. You'll find, like, you will obviously find, like, trolls occasionally, but there'll be a less, like, stupid, or just like people who really just want to annoy other people. You do find a lot of people who do annoy other people, but if they do it in a good way. Like, they've got the maturity to understand what is actually pretty fun or pretty annoying. And even if I do get like trolled by someone, like scammed by someone, that is like a part of the game, and I actually just sometimes am impressed by how people can just wreck you so hard. So that's another cool thing in the game, that the age level of most people in this game is pretty like old, and the good thing about that is just that you in general have a pretty mature community, so they're like not they know what they're doing, and you can kind of relate to them pretty well. So I also would like to discuss that there's like so many different levels of gameplay. So, you know, you got this over here, you got like so many different levels of it. You can like go to, like, I'm mostly in high sec, and there's a certain amount of high sec is a certain region of space that has like more like security, because they're police who shoot people who shoot other people. And there's like so many things you can do here, but then there's a whole other world in low sec, the criminal underworld, where you can shoot other people and police won't interfere. then there's nullsec where absolutely nothing will interfere, and a wormhole space. Like, there's so many different levels of gameplay. So there's I mostly spend my life in high sec, and there's plenty to do here, but then there's like so much more I can also do if I want to go to these like more dangerous areas. It's like kind of in other MMOs how you have like a PvE area, then you got like PvP areas. Like in EVE, there's really so much you can do in these different types of areas, and it really creates like a different level of gameplay. So to summarize, I think EVE Online is an amazing game. I think it's really a cool game for the long run. The graphics are amazing. The economy is harsh but rewarding, and it's also like very satisfying to progress. There's so much progression into this game. It takes a long time to train into ships, but there's always something you can do at the same moment. So it's not like you are useless, even if you haven't trained into the NTS stuff. So that's something I think is really cool. You can play for free, and you can do a lot by playing for free. So even if you don't want to pay the monthly subscription, there's a lot of things you can do. And if you really are hardcore, you can actually get the subscription in-game by playing the game for free, or quote-unquote free by playing the game. And then there's just so many different levels of gameplay. There's so many things you can do. Like emerging conduits I'm doing right now is just one of the hundreds of things you can do in this game. So that's it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. That's why I love to play EVE Online. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.